Hi everyone, my name is Gulshan Gupta and I'm from India. I came here, I think in 2017, I came here to study my Master of Commerce because I had done a bachelor's in India, and my family is here, so I've got my wife Sejal, and we've recently had a baby boy, Rayansh. He's 14 months old now and loving it. It's been an intense experience, but it comes with its pros and cons, I guess. It's been lovely. My family back home, I've got my parents. They still stay in India. I've got two sisters. Both of them are in New Zealand, and one of the main reasons I moved to Australia was because they were close. I wanted to be close to them. We meet often. We travel back to New Zealand sometimes. And yeah, it's been great moving out here, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Outside of work, so I do have a bit of interest. At the moment, I'm really keen on learning a bit about the crypto industry. So after work, I do a bit of research on that, and always looking out for some news or what's happening, because it's such a growing industry. So that's one of the main things that I spend my time on these days. Also, I like to socialize a lot. So I've always been that person that has a lot of friends, always has have had a big group of friends. So I meet with friends not just on the weekends. I try to put some time in meeting with friends throughout the week as well. So I would spend some time with them, and once I go back from work, usually the first few hours are spent with Rayansh, because he kind of would run up to me when I enter my house. So that's lovely. So you want to spend some time with them. So yeah, from a routine perspective, so spending a few hours with the family. Then if I have time, or if there's any plan, have a few beers with the friends, and then some research about just always trying to upskill myself or learn a bit about something other than accounting. So yeah, just spend a bit of time on that. In terms of my work here at Inspire, I do work with all sorts of clients, but you always pick a niche that you have an interest in. So recently I've started working a lot with clients in the property space, so construction, building, development, real estate agents. So that's kind of where my interest is peaking. I've always been interested in property. When I moved to Australia, that's what I thought in my mind. Even while I was a student, I should just get a property rather than paying someone else's rent. So I've always been interested in that. And then the clients that I've worked with are more like small developers to a bit of big developers. I wouldn't say too big. So when I say big, it's like families coming together. They've got a piece of land, they want to subdivide and develop on that. So developments around anywhere from 4 to 5 lots to 20 lots. So we kind of vary in that space a bit. But there's so much to consider with that space, and it's really lovely to be able to help someone and come in and help someone from an accounting perspective and guide them through, because it's a big project obviously, and it can have a lot of impact on the family itself. So that's one. The other bit is real estate agents. Especially now, given the market, it's becoming really strong. It's a strong market, and you can see yourself making a lot of money. And not saying it's a bad thing. You should make a lot of money, but then you also need to consider tax and all of that. So I've been helping a lot of my clients with that space and how to navigate that industry a bit. Some of the other industries I've worked with, and I have interest in, is professional services around software developing and all of that space as well. So obviously there's all sorts of levels with that industry as well. So you could be a software developer developing for other firms or whatever, and those levels. So I've learned a lot working in that industry, and there's a few things that have recently changed as well, with R&D grants, innovation companies, all of that. Some other professional services that I've worked with would be lawyers, for instance. I have a few clients that are lawyers, so yeah, it's not specific to one, but we work with all sorts of clients, and it's just happened so that I've had experience with lawyers, experience with professional services, almost alike. So software developers, I've got a few clients in that space as well. When I started in the accounting industry, the main goal was to really help clients and really bring value, and I have been fortunate enough and been in that space where I have recently helped some of my clients to really impact first of all what impact we made on them, but also on their extended family, for instance. So recently there was a client, they had a really old, like 40-year-old family home that they had, and they had a few connections within the building and construction space, and they wanted to do something with it. So they came up to us with the idea of subdividing and making that into a big construction project. And it got to a point where we were helping them through structuring that, the tax side, but also feasibility studies, and just helping how practically that project will flow, because it was the first time they were doing it as well. And they've recently just finished doing the project. So what they did was that old home, they managed to subdivide it into like a massive project, and realizing millions of dollars in sales. And what that did was, first of all, they got that experience. So that was a big thing for them, of the first experience into the property space and developing space. And then now they're set up from an intergenerational wealth perspective. So they, fortunately for them, the project went really smoothly, and there was no hiccups. Obviously there might be a few, but at the end of the day it was smooth sailing for them. And then now they're set up for life, and now what they want to do, because they've got that experience in that space now, they want to keep doing it as well. So it's just, once you do it right and once you get it right, it can really impact. And I was just so fortunate that I was the one guiding them through that. And I've always wanted to have really good relationships with my clients, and I feel like with that particular client, we're really good friends now. And they kind of acknowledge that we could help them navigate through it as well. So it's been a great privilege to be in that space. Another example of a client that we've really helped through and helped with a journey on their so-called business journey is a software developer client. And they had been before coming to us, they had been running their business for at least 10 years, and once they came to us, we were really able to educate them, first of all, on what is out there, what he can do to kind of really fast track his journey and impact his family and his extended family again. So what we did there, we helped them through first of all buying their first commercial property through the SMSF for the business, and also just structuring them right in a way that they could then start using those that business money or the business profit in the business to then impact their wealth outside the business. So I would say it's been really impactful for him as well, that because you don't know what you don't know, and sometimes just knowing that what's out there and what are the things they can do was really impactful and powerful for them. And I feel like now they're in a place where they're thinking strategically what they want to do in the next 10 years, and they already have a plan in place. So again, it's a two-way street. We obviously tell the clients what are the possibilities, but at the end of the day, it's the client who has to implement all of them. And it sort of came to a point because we were making so many changes. They were like, there's so many signatures that I have to do, so but it's one of those things where you make changes that are going to impact yourself and your family in the future. So yeah, they did a few things, and I could say that they're in a really, really good space now and doing well with the business as well. So yeah, it's been great. Another example that we always talk about impact here at Inspire, and impact that we've made on a really big impact that we've made on a client would be an infection control client, and they work in that space. And when they came to us, they had a lot of 8-year debt, so it was around $250,000 in debt, which is obviously a pretty bad position to be in, and it kind of puts you down as well, that you're doing so much, but you always have that debt hanging. So when they came to us, we had to come up with a plan to kind of attack that debt, because they did want to pay it down, and the business had kind of taken off a bit. So what we did, we put a plan in place. It was over a year's time, and then only just recently they paid all of the debt off, and it's been massive for me to see that it was such a massive debt on them, or a burden on their shoulders, that I've been able to help them take it off their minds. And they just told me on the call the other day, that how light they feel now, and knowing that they don't have that big debt hanging on their shoulders. So I feel like that was a really big impact, and just helping a client go to sleep at night easily. That's just one of those big things for me, because I come from a business background as well, and I've seen how wrong things can go with businesses, and how right things can go as well. So it's both ways, and I sleep well at night knowing that I've given some help to the clients, helping them sleep better at night. So it's just been amazing to see how they've just knocked down that debt. Something that we're proud of, that I wanted to share with you guys, is one of these clients that we've helped with just change mindset around family homes and properties. So just a bit of background: when they came to us, they've got this business. They had some bad experience with property in the past, where things didn't work well for them, and they just shut off. They were like, no, property isn't for us, and we never want to get into it. But with our experience, what we here for is just giving them the other side of the story as well. So kind of nurtured them a bit on how properties can work for them, for their family wealth and all of that. So after a bit of discussions, meetings, and it has taken a while. It wasn't like a one-day thing, but they feel confident again getting into property. And recently they bought their family home, and they felt really comfortable throughout the process and the decisions that they were making. So I feel like that's such a massive effort on behalf of them, is coming from a place of such a negative emotional baggage and turning that into something positive. It's been great, and I feel like it'll really help them achieve their goals a bit quickly, and feel really good about the future. Travel is one of those things where you always want to travel with your partner and your family members, and I've always been big on travel. Recently, we had to, or we didn't have to, but we kind of stopped because we had our son, and it's hard traveling with little babies. But I think now we're at that space in time where we can. So next, and we keep discussing about this almost every day. My partner keeps sending me photos about the next travel destinations. So we've decided that we want to go to or travel to Maldives next, we've been looking at accommodations, and it's just so beautiful, and I do want to see that place, and I think I'll be booking that soon, and really excited about that. Something that not a lot of people know about me is I was an aspiring, pro tennis player back in the day. So I used to train professionally, and I tried to go pro as well. So it was really a really big passion for me when I was around 15 years old to 18. So one of those things that it was just that and nothing else. So and I still to this day play a lot, occasionally with friends or social tennis. Sometimes I come across as this person that is professional, technical, talking to the point, but not a lot of people know that I had that background from sports, and it was a really a time that I cherish a lot because I learned so much through it, and I love playing tennis still. So if someone wants to have a shot, please reach out. With property, first of all, I think it's a very personal decision, but I've seen how good of an impact it can make on a family's wealth. So I've recently gone through a property purchase myself, and I've always wanted to do that. I'm really interested in property, and I see the benefits of it. Obviously there's good ones, bad ones, good experiences, bad experiences, so you've got to be really careful. But what I've seen is if you do your own research, and it does make a massive difference. So what I've seen with personally myself is it just feels so, start feeling confident, and you start feeling like you've done something once you have the first property, and after that it should become smooth sailing, and you keep doing that. It can make a massive difference on your family wealth as well. So because it's sort of like, I wouldn't say it's 100% passive, because you still got to put a bit of time into it, a bit of research into it. But if you've got it right, if you've got the process right, it can make a massive difference, not just your business. So you're not just relying on one source, as everyone says, not putting all eggs in one basket, and just diversifying that a bit. And we've recently helped a lot of our clients take that first step, or that first plunge into investment properties, and how that impacts their family wealth, how they pay off their family homes, and there's heaps of strategies around that. So if you're thinking to make that step, and you're just looking for the right time, I think now is the right time. And if you're not sure, if you have some negative emotions attached to it, just reach out. Sometimes it's as easy as having a chat, and sometimes you dissolve whatever negative emotions you have around property. You can dissolve just by chatting to the right people.